everybody. It's just me tonight. I'm not sure how long I'll be on, but I'll be on for a little while at least. Give everybody a few minutes to come on in and say hi. Got all this stuff I have to change out or Jason gets irritated with me. There's April. Hello, hello. Okay, hold your ears because I'm going to snap this real quick. Now let me turn this one. I can't tell which one's which. It must be that one. Okay. Y'all let me know if you can hear me, if it's too loud, if it's too quiet. Still got that pesky cough. Everybody have a good Saturday, good Friday and Saturday. I know we're coming off of Easter last week, so it's a different different week. We'll see. Good. All right. So obviously Jason's a no-show 2 weeks in a row now. If I were y'all, I'd start taking personally. Not really. He had a guys' night out that's usually on a Sunday night, and instead they changed it to a Saturday night. So it's kind of a church thing. So they're all hanging out together. So I told him to go on and have some guy time, and then I realized I was going to be stuck doing a live stream by myself. Carol is off babysitting, and Ladessa is in the other room babysitting as well. We have a couple of chitlins here with us. One of our friends, he went with Jason to the men's thing, so I told him go have some fun and we'd watch the kids for a little bit. So that's what's going on. So if you hear like banging or loud noise in the background, that would be the chitlins. So we've had I'm gonna tell you, we've had an interesting week. We've been trying to get everything ready for the garden, and then we started bringing all of our plants out to harden them off, and I started noticing it getting a little bit cooler. And Ladessa and I also noticed the sky started looking like we might get a storm. And I will admit, I'm a slacker. Normally this time of year we try to pay attention to the weather, but apparently I did not do a very good job of that. And so I was unaware of the big storms that were going through. And the frost that was coming as well. And but because we pay attention to our surroundings, and between Ladessa and I, we tend to observe things a little bit before everybody else does. And so she started smelling the rain. I started seeing just the atmosphere just looks a little bit different when it's getting ready to storm. And we started to notice the temperature starting to drop. And so we started looking up, like, what's the weather look like, which then made us realize that we were about to be in a world of oh no's. So yesterday and the day before, I guess it was just yesterday, we didn't bring the plants out all day yesterday because it was chilly, and then we had the frost advisory overnight. We've been looking at the weather, and it looks like come Tuesday, we should be completely in the clear. Of course, I'm sure there's video proof of me saying like a week or two ago that we were in the clear. But even though we got to like, I think our low was like 36, we still had frost. But it's weird because in the stuff that wasn't covered, we didn't have any frost. But the strawberries, we covered them intentionally because of the frost. And when we pulled back the tarps this morning, they actually had frost on the leaves. Now, my hypothesis on that is that from all the rain we had, that moisture was still in the soil and hadn't had a chance to completely evaporate. And so when we put that tarp on there, and this, the liquid was still in the soil, I'm imagining that some of it found their way to the leaves and put frost on the leaves. I went out there this afternoon, and it doesn't look like there was any damage to any, because we do have berries already set. Which is exciting. And as a matter of fact, just before we came on here, I was walking around with the children, and we actually saw a couple of red berries. But I had to tell them that they weren't quite ready yet because there were only 2 that look like they're almost ready, and there are 3 children. And you and I both know how that works out. So I said that they weren't quite ready yet. So I told a little fib. My nose got a little bit. So April said fill the chillers full of chocolates and sweets and send them home. I will. I'm not going to be that person. And I'll tell you why. I love these children, and I love their mom and dad as if they were my own. And I want to see them again. And if I did that, they wouldn't let me keep them again. So, and they're actually a little bit more, I don't want to say strict, but a little bit more firm on that than some parents. Like some parents just, don't give them sugar before you send them home to go to bed, because that's not cool. But they regulate their sugar a little bit more than most parents, which is absolutely fine by me. I don't mind it, because at the end of the day, there's so many other cool things to eat besides sugar. Ironically, we were outside because, of course, I wanted to have them burn off some energy before it got dark. So we were outside, and we're running around having praise and worship time outside, and we're having a grand old time. And one of the children looked at me, and he goes, "Do you have any clover?" And I was like, "Yeah, we have clover." And he starts walking around, and he's like, "I found some clover flowers." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "I'm going to eat them." And I'm like, "You can eat them. That's fine. Go ahead, eat them." He started looking around. He's foraging in my front yard. And I thought, this is why we do what we do. I can't wait until summer when that front yard is so full of food that they walk around and they're not just looking for clover flowers, but they're grabbing cherry tomatoes or a pepper or whatever. So that was pretty cute. Hey Luke, Geeky Gardens, what's up? Niana. So yeah, so that it definitely made me more motivated to start getting stuff planted and in the ground. So we're really like stalking the weather map right now to see how things are going. Geeky Gardens, what's the average temperature like where you're at right now? Like, what are you running? Have you had did you have a cold dip over the last couple of days? Because I know we were like 36 and then 39, but I think next week our low, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think we are up in the 50s, and then we just kind of hover there for a little while. Luke came over yesterday. Was it yesterday or was it today? Yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Came and dropped off some fish guts. And the girls got out there on the tractor and dug everything up and put it in the soil. So I'm excited to see what that's going to do for our soil. I will tell you this though, as we were digging up the soil out there, my truck said 32 this morning. Whew. Maybe it did by the time, because it's weird what our temperatures do. Like, it'll be like 37, 38. Like, when I woke up at, let's see, I was up at 5. Yeah, I was up at 5. And it was still in the high 30s. But then it does this weird thing where it'll dip and then it comes back up as the sun's coming up. So, I don't know. It's weird. Average is around 76 right now, but it's been kind of cool last couple of days. 60 at 8 p.m. You can't beat that. I think out there it's probably in the 40s. It feels like it's getting kind of cool. It's probably in the 50s, really. But it's definitely, once the sun goes down, it's definitely chilly out there. We've got a couple of animals trying to have babies out there, so hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. That's another thing I wanted to ask everybody. Have y'all been seeing the shorts that are coming out? Luke, I know you have, but we've put out some pretty funny ones lately. And we're continuing to put out some pretty funny ones. They're entertaining and they're not long, so. Man, this pollen. I'll tell you today, so we've got Walk to Emmaus coming up, and so this Saturday today and then next Saturday there's a lot of like preparation stuff to get the campground ready. And so we went down there this morning and did a bunch of stuff, and it was funny because on the way down Jason was like, do you not ever wash your windshield? Now what he doesn't know is I literally washed it yesterday, but I'm like, yeah, every once in a while. He's like, you have to wash this windshield, it's filthy. And I was like, and so he cleaned it, right? And he's like, see, it looks so much better. And then we got to the campground, and like the car sat there for a little while. We were getting ready to leave, and there was just a whole nother layer of pollen. And I'm like, see, like it doesn't matter if you clean it now, like in 20 minutes, it's going to be covered again. So it is what it is. Geeky Garden said low should be in the 60s, but hit 49 2 days ago. Niana, it's been a rough week for you. I'm sorry. If you got anything you want us to pray for, you can let me know in the chat, or if you want to just send it to me privately, you can do that too. Gabriel Meyer just subscribed. So one of the things that I'm finding is that we're catching a lot of new viewers through these new shorts. So you may see some new people show up in the chat box. Hey Kim, what's up? So if you see anybody new in the chat box, be sure to say hi. So has anybody, I know Geeky Gardens has probably had some stuff in the ground for a while, or maybe you just never took it out of the ground from last year. But how about anybody else? Is anybody else doing, got anything put in the ground yet? Did you jump the gun and maybe put something in a little early? Yeah, it's pollen season down here. Car washes are a waste. Yes, I absolutely agree. We were dashing up in Clemson, and one of the things that the car washes have gotten smart is they've put together like a package where you get like unlimited washes. And so that's where they're, probably losing money right now, because people are paying a flat fee And like every time they want to go get their car washed, they're, you know, hopping in and going and getting their car cleaned up. But I'm going to tell you, it's wreaking havoc on us because we're just coming off of this we're just coming off of this respiratory thing, and now the pollen is just like, even when we open the door, you'll just see it whoosh in. We went for Jason's pathology report. We went to Athens to go get the results of his pathology reports from his colonoscopy, and everything's okay. But we gotta change a couple things diet-wise, anti-inflammatory stuff, that kind of thing. So we're going to be looking into Mediterranean style of eating. Not exactly Mediterranean, but a lot of the Mediterranean stuff, the Mediterranean diet kind of lines up with what we're going to be looking at. So if anybody has done that, I would love to hear your opinion on it. Potatoes and carrots. So we haven't planted any potatoes, but I have the one bed of carrots that, if you watched my video a while back, we planted those from the Dollar Tree, and they're coming up, so that's kind of exciting. And then I just planted another bed of my gardener carrots, and I have a video on it. I'm gonna work on getting it done and getting it out this week. My potatoes have come up and look good. That's good, Luke. I'm glad they came up because I was a little worried that they were going to get rotted in the ground. Yeah, Geeky Garden says, never took them out. Still eating tomatoes I planted in September, but we do things a bit different down here. Yeah, no kidding. Kim said, I just today pulled all my seeds out that didn't grow and got rid of the topsoil that had fungus. Well, hopefully those new seedlings and soil, everything will be okay for you. So on the agenda this year, does anybody have a vegetable that they're growing this year that they haven't grown before, or maybe a different variety they wanted to try different this year? I'm curious. My big thing is we're not going to do as many tomatoes. At least I say that. And then I kind of like backtrack a little bit. Let me look. I know it's going to look a little weird. You might hear a little clicking. But I want to look up something before I tell y'all. Let's see. Let me see if I can check this real quick. Because I don't want to tell you and be wrong. Nope, I'm wrong. I guess he changed it. So, there was, and I guess it was the way I read it, it must have been yesterday and the day before. Luke from MI Gardener was running a promotion on his seeds in protest of Bonnie plants. So I wanted to see if it was still running, but it looks like he's stopped it. So Geeky Gardens, I grew carrots for Sirius this year, and they're doing pretty good. Hope to do better with them next year. Planning on more tomatoes this year. Okay. Sweet potatoes are new for me, and my slips are doing amazing. Probably ready for the 5-gallon buckets already. Yeah, ours are doing phenomenal. I'm about ready to put them in the ground, but we still got to work the soil before we can put them in. So, but I'm hoping they do really well. Trying to think if there's something new. I know we've kind of backed off on the different types of tomatoes. Jason and I in the past, we've kind of like gone crazy about seeds and when we plant them and everything. And so this year I convinced him to just do a couple of different varieties and then, you know, plant them a little bit later than when we normally plant them. And so far that has worked out good for us, especially now that it is the 6th of April and we had a frost last night. So I'm hoping that that was the last of it. But technically, Farmer's Almanac says like April 15th for us. So we could, in the next 9 days, we could still have some more. So that's why we've just been kind of taking the plants outside, bringing them back in, taking them out, putting them back in. We want to make sure that they're definitely, hardened off before we put them out in the soil. Deanna said, I can't find sweet potatoes this year, even from our store. Really? Because we have quite a few here, to the point where they're like running sales on them where they're like 49 cents a pound or something like that, because there's been quite a few. So I don't know. It makes me think back long time ago. I think Ladessa was still a baby. We we went to a trapping convention, and they do a scholarship for kids getting ready to go to college. And how they fund it is everybody like chips in stuff to auction off. And one of the guys auctioned off like, I don't know how many boxes of sweet potatoes. And I wish that 2024 Robin, was back in, 2010 Robin, and could be like, hey, you need to get those, because we would have done really well, but we didn't know any better back then. So or 2010 Robin, somewhere around in there. So is that what I said? Yeah, 2010, somewhere around in there. I think we probably still didn't know about growing slips from sweet potatoes, and I imagine that those sweet potatoes were like out of somebody's field, not like somebody bought them and brought them. So I've even thought about reaching back out to them, because Jason's a lifetime member there, and I've thought about reaching out to him and being like, hey, who was it that used to grow all those sweet potatoes? Because I want some sweet potatoes. I know we missed the garlic train this year. We actually bought garlic twice, and then the soil just wasn't ready, and we just never took the initiative to put them in the ground. And I'm very sad about that, because we had that one big garlic harvest one year, and now it's just, we haven't had any. So I really got to make sure that I'm on top of that come October, because I want to make sure that we have garlic in the ground and ready to go. We are going to focus probably a lot more than we have in the past on herbs. Our little bed that's out in front of Carol's room, we had tried to make it kind of like a tea garden. We had put some echinacea in there, some lemon balm, some thyme, a whole bunch of stuff. However, the only thing that has survived is the mint. Because, when you plant mint somewhere, well, that, and also I guess it's like garden violets or something. It's like a vining plant has kind of taken over, so they kind of try to choke each other out. And it's kind of comical to watch, but I was excited because I walked by there the other day when I was filming, and I could smell the sweet mint aroma, and I was like, oh, it's time to start putting that back in my water with some lemon. So I'm excited for that. But anyway, I am on the hunt for, and I know I've said this in the past, the Star of David. If anybody has any Star of David okra seeds, I would love, or if you know where I can find some. I need to get some Star of David okra. We tried doing the heavy hitter okra 2 years ago, I guess, and they did okay. But I really like the Star of David. And then also I think it's the Alabama Red, and then obviously the Clemson Spineless. Speaking of Clemson, we were up there yesterday and they were having their plant sale. They have, if you've ever been to the Clemson area, they have some beautiful greenhouses. And I think also, it's been a while since I've been over there, but I think UGA also has some really pretty greenhouses. And I think they were both having their plant sales this weekend. So I was fortunate enough to not be anywhere near either one of those areas so that I didn't spend my savings in plants. And then another thing, so I haven't been going to get feed lately. Ladessa's been going with a friend of ours because our truck broke down. And so, or it's actually one of our friends' trucks and been letting us borrow it. Broke down, and so Jason's he's been working on it. And so the friend has started getting into livestock, and so now we all just, he takes Ladessa over there, and she goes and gets our barrels, he gets his, and so it's a win-win. We're very fortunate for that. But that means that I'm not going over to our feed and seed when we go to get feed. And so I've had to start reminding Ladessa to keep an eye out for some of those plants because, like, after this frost, some of them might be, damaged, which I don't think I want those. But if they have any that, need a little bit of love and need to be repotted or whatever, we might do that. So Giga Gardens. I usually do Clemson Spineless, but not recently. I'm spending summers at Mom's and can't be here to pick okra every day. Yeah, that's rough. So, I hear Ladessa. So no chicks. Well, not as of yet. I have been in transition.
Don't let her fool you. She was staring at him real bad at Tractor Supply the other day. I still want my Mohawk duck.
I know. So we went to Tractor Supply the other day, and one of these days I'm gonna hit it when it's dollar day. I just know. I can feel it. It's like roulette. I have a couple of friends that occasionally go to Tractor Supply, and I'm like, just if you see that they're dollar chick day, just give me a call. Because right now, like, their chicks are $5 a piece, and I just can't do it. I think I would rather, every time that I feel like I need to buy a chick, just put $5 in a savings account, and when I get to 100 or whatever, then go ahead and buy an incubator, because that's really what we need. We need an incubator because we have plenty of eggs floating around here that are fertilized for sure, and we could start our own flocks with that. So that's kind of ultimately the goal anyway. But while we were at Tractor Supply, Ladessa saw a beautiful little, what she calls a Mohawk duck, which is basically, it's the, what are they called? Of course, I can't think of it now, but they have the tuft on their, on their head. And so that's what she was talking about, is she absolutely wants one of those ducks. But they're like $7 or $8, and you can't buy just one. You have to buy two. So we'll see about that. But right now, we're really trying to focus more on the garden side of things because we can grow out chicks, pretty much all summer. The birds that we have right now, no, they're not silkies. It's called crested. That's it. A crested duck, like white crested duck. They've got that little palm. It almost looks like a Polish chicken, but it's a duck. And so that's what she wants. So she wants a couple of Mohawk ducks, is what she calls them. They had a couple that were, I guess they were black, and then there was a couple that were like a beige buff color. So that's what she. Have to get Floyd to redo my coop. The coons slaughtered my I hate to hear that. Yeah, you know what? That's one of the problems when you have chickens. I hate to say cooped up, but if you have them in a coop and you have them in a run, you take away their ability to avoid a predator, or you limit their ability to avoid a predator. And so that's one of the things that I always get real nervous when we start clipping wings and putting them behind the electric fence, because there are times when people forget to turn the electric fence back on, and then we end up with a problem. And then the other problem to that is that you clip their wings because you don't want them getting out, but then that also means that they don't have the ability to fly. So I always go back and forth on that about, you know, and right now Jason's point is he wants us to keep everything behind fencing so that they don't get into the gardens. And I agree with that, because every morning I sit out here and watch the ones that we, you know, haven't caught get in the dirt and flop around, and I'm like, I can just see it. When we have seedlings, they're going to be in there, and they're either going to peck the seedlings out or they're going to roll around and kill the seedlings. So that's more of a motivator for us to, one, get our seedlings up and healthy before we bring them out, and two, to figure out this chicken thing so that we can get them all out there and secure. I think we're going to have to walk the bottom of the fence to make sure that, because in some of the areas it's kind of unlevel, so we got to secure the bottom rung so that they can't just duck up underneath it. So we may have to pick up some tent stakes to do that. And if we can do that, I think we'll avoid, you know, let's see, she said, or pull back your mulch. What do you mean, pull back your mulch? I don't know. But anyway. Well, we're gonna go maybe for another 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna go eat dinner. I have to go pick up Carol. And then I will be back. I'll do a short live stream for the members. I would say probably around 9:30. Be looking for that. Oh, chickens loose. Yeah, we've had chickens loose, and then we've had chickens in a coop. And I will say I like the idea that I don't have to go chasing for eggs or missing eggs, because you know, that's a bear when you go walking around and you find eggs that have been there for who knows how long. That's like we found a nest, but we've seen somebody actively going over there and laying, and it was one of our Americanas, and so there's a part of me that wants to like leave it just to see if she's laying, and then she maybe will end up sitting on them. So I'm kind of like hoping that when she gets to a certain number, maybe she'll do that. How strongly do you recommend electric fence? Okay, so one thing I will tell you, Niana, Jason did a book, an ebook on predator proofing, or a predator thing, and April just put that link up there for his predator book. It shows you how to set up your coop to kind of make it as predator resistant as you can. There's a lot of really good ideas in there. I think that if you have the proper charger and you ground it properly and you maintain your electric fencing, I think it is a great tool to keep animals out. Now, I don't think it's as great to keep animals in, because your birds have feathers, and the feathers are insulation from the shock, and so they don't really get shocked from it. It's more to keep predators out. than it is animals in. So it's frustrating when your chickens are like, oh, I don't feel like staying in here. Whoop. And they'll get shocked. But I will say that in the book that Jason did, he talks about using electric wire as opposed to the electric poultry fence to be able to protect your coop and the placement of where those need to be. So if you're, thinking about redoing that, I think the book's only like $5 or something. There's a lot of really good content in there. So if that's something you're considering, I would definitely check into that. It's on our website, and it's just an ebook. It's pretty easy to navigate through. But I'll tell you, the Gallagher fencing across the board has been really good. The bigger focus is the charger than anything. You want a charger that you can rely on, that you know is not going to just putz out on you after 6 months. And I know that Gallagher's chargers are a little bit more expensive, but after trying, like, we've tried the Parmac or whatever it is, and we've tried Premier Ones, I believe. We've tried the one at the, Zariba from Tractor Supply. We've tried several, and I will tell you that this is by far the best quality charger and the way that we treat them, like, they should have already died, and they're not. They're doing really, really well. So I would definitely, look at that book. And then if you think that that's a little much, the electric fence would definitely be an alternative to consider. So, anybody else have any questions before I head off to go eat and then pick up Carol? Anything else? Or anything that I should ask Jason to prepare him for next week when he's actually here for a live stream? I'm going to tell you, this cough is ridiculous. Tell you who I'm missing. Henry's not in here tonight. I'll have to reach out and make sure he's okay. All y'all, thank you so much for coming in and being patient with me. I know I'm not as entertaining when I'm by myself. But I enjoyed hanging out with you guys and getting a chance to visit with the ones that showed up tonight. Definitely be looking for those shorts. We're putting out some pretty cute content, so I'm sure you will be entertained. Mark, I'm going to send you a message on Facebook either tonight or tomorrow. I've got your oils. I got to package everything and send it your way soon. So, you guys have a good evening. Good gravy. I'm here for fellowship, not entertainment. Well, that's good, because I can certainly provide fellowship. I can do a little gabbing and a little visiting. I enjoy just getting to see all of you, especially, like, some of these guys have been around for a while, but then also the new people that I feel like I've known forever. That's one of the benefits of having a YouTube channel. You're able to, connect with people that you might not normally get to connect with. So, all right, you guys, have a good night. Have a good rest of your week. Nobody freak out about the total eclipse next week. I will tell you from experience, we were in totality back in, 2017. The world didn't end. Everything was fine. Y'all take a deep breath. I feel like none of y'all are going to be the ones that panic. But definitely be thinking about those people who will be panicking. Hope that they side on, the part of reason where everything is going to be okay. Keep your hands down, or keep your heads down, keep your hands in the dirt, And I will see you guys next week. Y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to you again soon.